There's talk around Frankfurt. The special session dealing with the quasis could start Tuesday. Of course, none of that is confirmed. Governor Bevin has said he will not call the session until he has the votes to pass a pension bill. The governor vetoed House Bill 358, saying part of the reason he vetoed it was because he believed it violated the Inviolable Contracts Clause. When he vetoed it, many members of the Senate came out against it, but none as much as Senate Floor Leader Damon Thayer.
I did disagree with the veto, but that's done and over with. Nothing we can do about it. I think the governor has done everything we asked him to do. Number one, put together a good bill. Number two, start lining up the votes. And number three, don't call us into session until you know you've got the votes. That's where we are today. The votes aren't quite there. I understand we're getting closer by the day. I still think there's a chance that we don't have a special session, and these quasi-governmental agencies are going to have to start on July 1 doubling their contribution rate, and then we'll have to wait and just deal with it in January.
As Thayer referenced, there is a time crunch for lawmakers. If they don't come up with a plan by July 1st, the pension contribution rates for quasi-state agencies and regional universities will about double. And many agencies have said they can't afford that. Thayer says that's why he's hoping they will have a special session before that.
I want a special session. I'm for the governor's bill. I think it's a good solution. I think you could put 10 different bills on the table to deal with this quasi-governmental agency pension crisis, and you'd have people criticize every one of them. If I put a bill on the table, if Leader McGarvey put a bill on the table, there would be criticism. It's that complicated, and it's very difficult to put a bill on the table that affects 9,000 employees, all of whom are in different situations based on their employer. I want there to be a special session, but I'm not going to go in and vote for just a rate freeze. There have to be some of the back end reforms on the structure of the pensions in order to get my vote. And I think Governor Bevin's bill does that. Is it perfect? No. The bill we passed and he vetoed wasn't perfect. There is no perfect solution, but we've got to start down the road here and make some of these structural reforms.
While Thayer says he won't support just a simple rate freeze, that's what many Democrats are pushing for. This graphic has been making its way around Twitter today, with many state representatives showing their support for a plan to simply freeze the rate for another year while they come up with a plan to fix the quasi-pension system. Minority Floor Leader Senator Morgan McGarvey says that's what he wants.
Yeah, we have to have some relief for some of these, mental health agencies, rape crisis centers that we can't afford to have go out of business. So I think that we need to freeze the rate so that they can continue to operate, and of course find some revenue so that things can go forward.
McGarvey says now the burden is on the governor.
Well, the governor is the only person that can call a special session, and I think one of the reasons you're seeing the governor in trouble right now is his inability to work with the legislature. I think the legislature does stand ready to work on this problem, and the reality is the governor's office has not shown the same willingness.
Republicans and Democrats have taken different stances on the bill for the most part. This afternoon, the director of the Kentucky Retirement Systems, David Eager, spoke to the Louisville Rotary Club. Eager says he isn't interested in politics. He says his only concern is the pension system. He explained how dire the situation is to the group today.
They can't afford to pay the 83. It's going to bankrupt many of them, particularly the health departments. So they've already cut back, but they're going to go bankrupt if they have to go to many of them. They have to go to 83%. So they can't pay that. There's a process by which they can buy themselves out. So they have to pay for the liability and the unfunded liability. So take 12.9 from 100 and leaves you with 87.1. They have to pay 87.1% of the liability to us to get out of the system. You can't do that either. They can't afford it. So they're in a conundrum, and we are in a conundrum, and the state is in a conundrum. And that is, we can't afford to stay, we can't afford to get out.
Following the event, Eager said he supports the governor's plan.
We keep delaying and delaying and delaying. The bill is, the 358 and BR9, the governor's bill, is just about the quasis. Some people call it pension reform. It's not pension reform. It's focused on 118 agencies out of about 1,500 in our system. So it's solving a specific problem, attempting to solve a specific problem. There's no good solution. I mean, it's going to be costly. It's determining who bears the cost. But the governor's bill is described as being the best of the worst, and it's probably a fairly accurate description.